Welcome back to Tyler's Retro Reviews with your host Tyler Harder, and today is actually the 1 year anniversary of this YouTube channel, by the way. I started last year on May 9th, I believe. Correct me. It was May 9th, so yeah. Which was the first video I did was Unforgiven 2004, which was not a good show at all. I always thought the Raw periods were not as good as the SmackDown ones. Well, some were good, but we'll mention one. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about WCW Slamboree 1998. And I'm filming this on the day of the 25th anniversary of the following year's Slamboree, which, spoiler alert, I will review that show later this month. At the end of this month, rather. But we got to do two more before we get to it. What are we going to go to? Stay tuned for after this video, okay? So, we're going to talk about WCW Slamboree 1998. I went back to watch the show, and I thought the show was really lackluster, but watching it again, it's not that bad. Opinions be different, but however, the end of the main event was sour, really. I didn't like the end of the main event. But anyways, May 17th at the Crematorium in Worcester, Massachusetts. The same venue 5 years later that Backlash Show 3 took place. Regardless. So, what happened between Spring Stampede 98 and towards this? I will mention Spring Stampede 98 next year, okay? So, at Spring Stampede 98, Randy Savage won the WCW Championship from Sting. Only to lose it the next night to Hollywood Hogan, and thanks to a heel Bret Hart. If you want to see my Wrestling Dumpster Fires video 2 years ago on my Bret Hart video in WCW, it's there. It's like one of the most viewed Dumpster Fires videos, I think. Well, there's been a few have more views for the Dumpster Fires, though. That'll be back sometime later this month. And I'm leaning towards the Mike Awesome WCW run. Or I think that's the next one I'm going to talk about, yeah. And Kevin Nash and Randy Savage formed the Wolf Pack, where Conan was in it. Scott Hall was a part of it for one night. We'll get to that. But yeah. We're going to talk about that. Eric Bishop also challenged most controversial man right now in Vince McMahon to a fight. And I'm going to get this out of the way right now because this wasn't a match, okay? Because Vince was at his daughter Stephanie McMahon's graduation, which was the same night this pay-per-view took place. Now, imagine he did show up. It would have been one of those shoot fights ever on a pay-per-view, but he didn't show up. So Bishop won this match by forfeit. This was also around the time where him and Ric Flair was in a lot of, let's say they were not on the same page at this time around. Well, I think sometime later they did apologize to each other, though, but I'm not going into full details about that, okay? But anyways, let's talk about Slamboree 98. First match is for the WCW Television Championship. Finlay defeats Chris Benoit to retain the Television Championship. This was actually a really good match, and I'm surprised to say this, but Chris Benoit and Finlay had some really good chemistry together. Finlay won the television title against Booker T on a Nitro. I believe it was before this pay-per-view, but this was, I believe this was right after this pay-per-view, they did the best of 5 series between Benoit and Booker T. Um, yeah, it was a fun match. I give it a 7. It was a good match. Anyways, then Lex Luger defeats Bryan Adams. Bad, bad, bad. What a bad match. 0. It was a terrible match. Um, then I'm gonna go. This is gonna be a combined match, okay? Because in my original review I separated these two, but I should just combine the two, okay? Because that's how it works. Because yeah, this was a battle royal to determine the number one contender for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, which was held by Chris Jericho. And this was right before Chris Jericho got other that one man feud with Goldberg. It led to them, you know, about it. And yeah, and Jericho was the best thing about it. He introduced the people like Damien 666 cannot afford a mask. He had to wear face paint, which is funny. Sequel Play won the Battle Royal, unmasked himself to be Dean Malenko. And we're going to run straight to the match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Dean Malenko defeats Chris Jericho by submission to win the Cruiserweight Championship. This reign did not last long because it was, I believe it was a few weeks after this period, the title was stripped from Malenko and Jericho won the belt back. The best thing about this show, besides the next match, 8 out of 10 I'll give it. An 8 out of 10 I'll give it. Because, in my opinion, the best match on the night, the Battle Royale Death Match, Diamond Dallas Page. Oh, he's back for the 3rd week in a row of these retro reviews. Spring Stampede 2000, TNA Destination X 2005, and now WCW Slamboree 1998. Only difference is he's not in the main event this time around. Because the last two were against Jeff Jarrett. But yeah. The best match on the show. These two work so well together. Spring Stampede 98 was a great match also, but was this Battle Royale Death Match, by the way? It's a cage last man standing match with weapons surrounding it. DDP wins this match. 8.5 out of 10 I give it. Members of the flock got involved, but then there's another riot. $2 security comes in the cage. He handcuffs Horace Hogan, the legit nephew of Hulk Hogan, and Billy Kidman, and unmasked. It was Mortis to unmask. So again, it's Canyon. So yeah, there's been a lot of unmasking on this pay-per-view. I already mentioned the Bischoff Vince thing already, but that was before Bret Hart and Randy Savage. Oh, they actually updated this, but we'll get to that in a moment. Eddie Guerrero defeats Ultimo Dragon. Pretty good match. Pretty good match. I thought this is the feud between Eddie and Chavo, by the way, which this commented at Bash of the Beach 98. I mentioned that last year, okay? On this channel, that is. I mentioned that one already, so they also have a match at Great American Bash 08, which might be a video by July. Maybe June. Next month. Probably next month, yeah. This was a good match. I give it another 8 out of 10. Yeah. Then we get for the next match is for the WCW United States Championship. Goldberg defeats Saturn to go 88-0, 88-0. But reality, I don't know what the number was at this point, but the streak goes at 88-0. Goldberg won the U.S. title at the night after Spring Stampede. And if you've never seen that Goldberg Raven match, check that out. That was a fantastic match. I know it sucks for Raven to have a one-day title run, but it's Goldberg. They portray him as to me, the first final boss of it. And we don't know what happened at Starrcade. Stupid taser gun and a week after Starrcade, the finger poke of doom. I mentioned those two already. But yeah. This was originally supposed to be a gauntlet match between Goldberg and members of the Flock, but Saturn wants to do it on his own, but yeah. Saturn decided to do that. It was a little better than a Spring Stampede match. A 6.5 I'll give it. Still, a fun match. And then we did this match. Roddy Piper was the special guest referee for this match. Bret Hart defeats Randy Savage by submission. Well, the night after, the result was overturned by Piper the next night. So Savage technically won by disqualification. I'm not gonna lie to you, this match was not good. This set up Great American Bash, but technically it was a two-match thing between Bret Hart and Hogan versus Piper and Savage, and then Savage fought Piper, and you could tell Randy Savage, he's one leg in an ass-kicking contest, because Halloween Havoc 97, which I did also back in October, Randy Savage jumped off that gigantic cage where he fucked his leg up, and after Great American Bash, he had to get surgery. Yikes. So yeah, I did not like this match. Hogan got involved in this match. He was not on this. He didn't have a match at this show. But all I have to say is 3 out of 10. Because Randy Savage is a tough guy, but at this point he should have just went to get surgery. And him winning the world title was not going to be long because his leg is fucked up. But anyways, let's get to the main event, okay? For the WCW World Tag Team Championships, Sting and the Giant. By the way, the Giant went to the NWO Hollywood site before this pay-per-view. And you could tell Sting was not going to ally with the evil NWO. Because who's the leader of NWO Hollywood? Of course, Hollywood Hogan. Defeats the outsiders of Kevin Nash and Scott Hall to win the WCW Tag Team Championships. Not a good match either. And the finish of it, Kevin Nash was going to jackknife the Giant again because of what happened at Sold Out Reloads, which I never get to it. But Dusty Rhodes distracts the referee, and it ends with Scott Hall hitting Kevin Nash with the tag title, and that's led to Giant and Sting win the tag team titles. A really shitty finish. And this led to Sting join the Wolfpack, because some point after Slamboree, Lex Luger joined the Wolfpack, so Sting joined the Wolfpack also. So Slamboree 1998, it was a way better than the first time going around back in 2019, 5 years ago I did. But all that says is, why break up the Outsiders? It makes no fucking sense. I get a 6.5 out of 10, okay, for this show. So next week, we're going back to the year 2004 for another pay-per-view. And it's SmackDown's post-WrestleMania pay-per-view. Eddie Guerrero has no challenger to work with, So who will challenge Eddie for the next pay-per-view? Oh, I know. Let's repackage Bradshaw as John Bradshaw Layfield. And we get one of those bloodiest matches ever. Judgment Day 2004 next week. So stay tuned for that next week. So yeah. So this is next week's show, Judgment Day 2004. So we'll get to that next week. SmackDown review tomorrow. Saturday, I'll probably do the first Incredibles movie review. And then Sunday, I'll do the WrestleMania 2000 video game review. Yeah. Like this video, comment down below, subscribe to this channel right here, click the notification bell, as well as my main channel also. So, I'll see you next week for Judgment Day 2004. Goodbye.